afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, let me extend my heartfelt condolences, sympathies, and prayers to our former colleague, Liz Cheney, to Mrs. Cheney, and to the entire Cheney family on the passing of Vice President Dick Cheney. I also want to acknowledge today, of course, is Election Day, and just to encourage the American people to go out and exercise your right to vote, exercise the franchise, exercise your voice, wherever you may be, all across the country. It's our country, it's our democracy, it's our successful experiment in self-government, and it only works if the American people participate. Despite all of the efforts from the other side of the aisle to engage in misdirection, lies, voter suppression, and obstruction, the will of the American people is going to prevail today. Here in America, the cost of living is way too high. Donald Trump and Republicans promised that they were going to lower costs on day one. But costs aren't going down, costs are going up. The Trump tariffs are making life more expensive for everyday Americans by thousands of dollars per year. Inflation on the way up. Grocery costs, way up. Housing costs, way up. Child care costs, way up. Electricity prices through the roof, and the American people know it. That Donald Trump and Republicans have failed to make their life more affordable. And now, in the midst of this 35-day Trump-Republican shutdown, Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, which is going to result in tens of millions of Americans experiencing dramatically increased premiums, copays, and deductibles. In some cases, everyday Americans, working class Americans, and middle class Americans are going to see their health insurance premiums increase by $1,000 or $2,000 per year because of the Republican refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Donald Trump and Republicans in the House and the Senate have failed the American people, and the American people know it. Democrats will continue to fight to lower the high cost of living, to fix our broken healthcare system, and to clean up corruption. In the Congress, in the courts, and certainly as it relates to Donald Trump and his administration, the most corrupt administration in American history. We want to reopen the government. We want to find a bipartisan path forward toward enacting a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, that lowers costs for the American people, as opposed to the Trump economy where things are getting more expensive by the day. And of course, we have to decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis that is crushing the American people all across the land. Questions?
We hear there's a little bit of a thawing next door in the Senate on this. We don't know what that means or what that would look like. But considering the exercise that Democrats in the House went through in March, how much skepticism would there be from House Democrats on any sort of an agreement that would come over from the Senate?
We said from the very beginning that we will evaluate in good faith any bipartisan agreement that emerges from the Senate, reopens the government, makes life better for the American people, and decisively addresses the Republican health care crisis. Until we see details, we're not in a position to do much more than that.
Are you more optimistic than you were at all now, based on what you're hearing from next door?
We're in the middle of a 35-day government shutdown. Donald Trump is unlawfully withholding billions of dollars in SNAP benefits from 42 million Americans and 16 million children. There's nothing to be optimistic about relative to the cruelty and the pain that Donald Trump and Republicans continue to inflict on the American people. There's nothing to be optimistic about when it comes to the fact that Donald Trump shut the government down. They're forcing hundreds of thousands of people to be out on furlough or to work without pay. They refuse to address the health care crisis that Republicans have created. In a year where they enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing because of Republican policies all across America. The country is facing the possibility of a $536 billion cut to Medicare at the end of the year if Congress doesn't act. And Republicans are refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits because they would rather gut the health care of the American people. There's nothing to be optimistic about because of what Trump and Republicans have done to this country. They've gone way too far, and the American people know it, and the results today are going to decisively reflect that fact.
Can I follow up on that? Just to put a finer point on that, you said in September, any agreement related to protecting the health care of the American people has to be ironclad and in legislation. It does not sound like whatever agreement comes out of the Senate will be in legislation. Will you accept something that is a handshake deal?
It's the same answer that I just gave.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. I know that the filibuster is a Senate mechanism, but President Trump has repeatedly, as recently as this morning, called for Senate Republicans to abolish the filibuster, pass the CR with a simple majority, and also a host of other Republican priorities. You've criticized him for not inviting the legislative leaders to the White House to negotiate. What are your thoughts about him continuing to call for the abolishment of the filibuster within the context of his unwillingness to negotiate? Does that indicate to you that he has no interest in sitting down with not only his legislative leaders, but you and Leader Schumer?
Well, Donald Trump has taken a my way or the highway approach to his presidency from the very beginning, and he's used to Republicans